I've managed to lose it in 2 or 3 different ways. Now, the most obvious is quite recently, in fact, I managed to leave a data slip on the train. That's just it's the old attaché case error, isn't it? I mean, it's so beloved of MO5, military defence, the NHS, all that sort of thing. And that's human error, and I'm not immune to it. It doesn't show that. And that creates a number of problems, because you have working versions of a number of personal projects on there, and a large number of photographs of documents. I mean, I had records of which documents I was using at any particular time, and these are, legacy projects, if you like, so that wasn't a huge, but because I had paper copies of these projects in progress, I was able to revisit that and met a certain amount of retyping. But the information wasn't lost as such, because I had it in alternative formats. I'm quite careful at backing stuff up, so I had earlier versions, but they are earlier versions and more work had gone in, of course you've got to go. And then the big loss was actually the sets of notes taken from particular secondary sources, and that's annoying because not all of them are held in the library of the Institute for Historical Research quite work, and so that's going to cost me money at some point, not just replacing the data storage device, which is annoying, but actually that's going to entail a trip to academic libraries around elsewhere in the UK, Cardiff. So that's going to cost me a return train fare and a day of annual leave. But that's not such a big deal. It's not such a big price of being so silly. In the past, when I was first starting my PhD, I didn't manage to lose the data, but I lost the context. So you take a day's worth of photographs of the TNA, and then you don't file them properly. You haven't made a note of which documents you've looked at that day, and I wasn't careful enough with how I took the photographs. So I didn't they could use those little yellow slips which tell you what the document is, who ordered it, and the date you ordered it. What I now do is photograph those slips first, and then take all the photographs of the document before moving on to the next one. And that's a lesson learned. That's having the data but not being able to use it because you don't know where it's come from. And that's a real problem because you can't cite the data accurately. And obviously that means you have to then go back to Kew and work out which documents you photographed on that day. It wastes time, it wastes money. And that was a lesson learned early in the research, my research career, as you want to call it that. It's one that's very valuable, and I have actually used that when I've been talking to other PhD students when I was doing that, or when I've been running training for master's students. Say, right, when you gather your own data, make sure you can identify 3 weeks, even a day later, 3 weeks later, because you won't remember everything. It's doubling up and making it more resolvable.